the railway yard where they used to transport goods in and out was that it was virtually finished when we moved in, and we used to use it with AMP to store our terminals, and if you wanted to get lost for a few hours, we disappeared to the stores at East of Water.
When my son was born, and that's 33 years ago, longer than that, he's 33 and a half now, he was born at 10 o'clock, and I know they had a big celebration in the Swan, and they all collected, and I had this huge bouquet of flowers from all the people in the Swan. So you can see how often we went into the Swan. Yeah. I mean, pubs then were like collecting places.
They were just general meeting places.
They were, and you know, you didn't have to arrange to meet anybody. You knew who would be there, and if they weren't there, you'd be concerned, and you'd find out all about it. Or they'd say we're going on holiday for a week, and then you wouldn't see them for a week. But you know, everybody was in touch with everybody in those days because of those pubs. They made you feel really part of.
What do you think your favourite memory is of living in this area around the Wharves?
Well, getting up to a lot of mischief, I'm sorry to say. I think I've told you before that it used to be a goods yard where Ethel Brown, thank you. Ethel Brown is, and we used to get the trucks, and then there used to be Ronnie Barnes was on the brake, and us used to, old gang of us used to push it on to the next line over, and putting up the far end, knowing that they said, well, I never did left that thing over there, you know, and of course us used to get chased and everything. That was lovely.
Well, for people that don't know, we're talking about the railway line, aren't we?
Yeah.
That used to
be a goods yard there, yeah.
Yeah.
And before that, there was a station there before that, or part of it was, you know.
Do you have memories of that railway working?
Well, in the goods yard, I can remember they shunting in different, because it used to have a lot of trucks they used to do more or less for getting stuff, clay out of up to Torrington way, you know. But well, there's passengers trains as well going up to Torrington, but it was mainly goods, you know, goods trucks.
And was that the main way that people used to travel from this area into Barnstable as well?
Yeah. And what the best thing I used to like was when I was kids, Mother used to be, back then you could predict very good weather, and Mother used to say, oh, next Sunday, I said, no, next Saturday we'll catch the train and we'll go to Instow. And that was always a pleasure.
You know, Mr. garages and bungalows there now, and Mr. Lee, he had a shop. Tommy Lee, I could Bob all the information. I watched Locknets. Tommy used to go beds and that, and he had a shop. He had a shop.
The postage.
Sell it in Thornton Street.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee. Yeah.
So vegetables were sold in Thornton Street from the allotments.
Yeah. And this was fab shop in Thornton Street. I thought, give them all the information, what they were and who owned them.
Yeah.
Because I lived where the bakehouse is. That was the bakehouse. And then afterwards, the Common Sweet tobacco shop. Yeah. Mrs. Barry had junior one afterwards, and Mrs. Merritt had it after.
We went along a little bit further along. There was a row of houses there, and then there was a shipyard of which I don't know anything about, but I know it's of historical references. Jack Pyle used to be a man that used to do all the salmon fishing in the river, or a lot of it, that together with the Barnes family. He used to keep his trawler there in the winter. The building itself was a garage, and they used to repair cars big time, and they used to sell petrol.
Another thing we used to do through the summer holidays was the train, Instow. I had Aunt Joyce, mother's sister, and 3 cousins. They lived up Barton Towers, and then Mother would arrange with Aunt Joyce we would go to Install on the train. So they would come down all packed up. Mother would pack us 4 up. We'd get on the train at Bideford Station, go to Install for a penny each. Oh, the children did. You know, it was a penny for the children to go to Install, spend the day down in Install, playing around, and then catch the train back again for tea. For a penny.
Well, and you never knew Ethelwyn Brown.
I must have.
Ethelwyn Brown, I don't know what she did before she was 60, but when she retired, she either lost her husband just before or just after she retired.
Right.
Don't know what she did, but she decided that she was going to do something in the community. So she became a councillor.
That's what I was saying. Was she the councillor?
Yeah, she was a councillor. I don't think she was a councillor for East Water, but she necessarily.
No.
I'll tell you about a few of them in a minute. But she got herself elected, and she was elderly. You know, in those days, being 60 was old.
Oh, yes,
You know
it
what I
was
mean?
fair, yeah.
She was very elderly, and she used to dress up. The council put her on a committee that I ran to do with the health service, called the Community Health Council. So one of my first jobs here, was working as the administrator of the Community Health Council in Barnstable, covering both sides. You know, Bideford and all the hospitals, right down to Holsworthy, right up to Ilfracombe. And we were called the watchdog. In those days, it was on the telly, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
We were watchdog of the health service. So I had this committee of the greater good from a few councillors from Torridge and a few from North Devon. And Ethelwyn Brown was one of the Torridge district councillors that was on my committee. She was quite a new councillor, and she used to dress up. She used to dress up in furry coloured things, and she always had an Alice band with sparkly things on it and a hairband.
Yes,
She was,
yes,
you know, all these
across
councillors,
the
and she had white hair, and I think it was in a bun, and she was just a one-off, you know. And she was always dressed, and she always came to the committee with Mr. Bricknell, because Mr. Bricknell had a very big Jaguar.
Oh, right, yes.
And Mr. Bricknell always let Ethelwyn Brown sit in the front. She always, and Mr. Short, do you remember Stan Short? He was in the Western County Building Society,
Yes,
and he was on the
The name
council.
sounds familiar, yeah.
Stan Short had to get out the car, although he got picked up first, and open the door for Ethelwyn Brown to go. And I mean, I think this is one of her favourite committees.
I bet it was,
She was sat there in a great big car with the 2 chaps driving there, you know. She was a good committee member. I mean, because of course she represented all the old people's interest in those days, and she was really good at staking things. But she was such a character, so I'm not surprised, you know, because she wasn't a political animal. She wasn't one of these people who've been in politics all her life. She just decided. She got herself on the. If she was going to do something, she did it. You know, she got herself on the council, and she was there for probably well into her 70s. I think she died probably in her 80s, but she, you know, she gave good 15 years to this town, looking after mainly the interests of the elderly, which was good because in those days they didn't have, you know what I mean. It was all sort of the same type of people on it, all those sort of shopkeepers and people like that. And I mean, they weren't particularly interested in what happened to old people, whereas she wouldn't, you know, she wouldn't
fight the case.
She was. I used to like her. We had some lovely people.
Torridge, called them on the train. And because there was no buses to Torridge, so everybody had to come on. All the children for Barnstable came on the train. Bideford, an area, we went on the bus. They laid out a couple of buses, double deckers, and we went on them up to Barn. Unless there was a bus strike, then we all got on the train on special tickets, because we had a season ticket for the school, and you had to get on the train. They allowed you on the train for that week, unless there was a bus strike on or something like that. But that was the only place there now in East Water was a bus station, bus stop, and everybody didn't worry because it was close to it anyway, unless you lived up the top of Barton Towers like you do now and all out on the estates. And they're moaning now because they've got to come down because they're nearly stopping the buses up to round that way. But in those days, you accepted what was there.
The middle of the Royal Hotel, hollow. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And that is a board put on the pavement. So when they come around with the horse tracks, they used to drive in there with the horse and carts, go round the goldfish pond and back out again. And either side of that, either side of there, you can still pebbles stop the wheels and the entrance going in.
Yeah, setting the sides,
Yeah, there, and that was hollow. There was a fountain in there going sky high. Yeah, that was in my time. Can you see that? It was hollow.
The stables in there.
Yeah, stables. I'm just saying about the Royal Hotel. In the middle, it was just that. Well, there was a goldfish pond in there, but 20 foot wide. There was a fountain going right up. And either side of the doorway there, and you come down through the horse and tracks, is to drive in there and go round the goldfish pond, cobbled, and come out again. But there was a goldfish pond in there, going 60 foot up in the sky. It was lovely. Stonework and ironwork. Lovely fountain.
Was it
It was cobbled in
I would
place.
row up to Iron Bridge with the tide, and there was flat grass up there, other side of flat grass riverbank, and you used to pull in there, spend the day playing on the grass, in the river, or in the woods behind. And Mother would have a picnic and all that there, it would be lovely. And then come back on the ebbing tide, so the father didn't have to row very much. And then you, when by the time you got back to the mooring, you just moored up and waited till the tide went out, and then you got out and went home again. And that was a lovely day out, just doing that.
We started school at 4 years old, see. A lot of people don't believe that, but Miss Bowen, Miss Braddock and all that, when we were in the infants, you know.
And is that the school down at east of the water?
Yeah, down the bottom.
The building is empty now.
Yeah, that's right. It's a pity they've left it to ruin now. Everything's gone kaput down there.
And what was it like being in a school that was right next to the river and right next to those wharves?
Oh, it was lovely. Because I used to go crabbing as well, you know, and bit of a old Boughton rain or something like that. Crabs would, you know, grab out of anything, you know. And it used to have a competition who can get the most crabs.
Peter, because he thought he could get chickens. But I used to get, back in Bideford, I used to get all the colds. And he used to give me half a dozen eggs a week, because he thought down there, he had hundreds of chickens.
Then we come to what we call the bottom school, which was the only school in East of Water, run by a Miss Bow, and that used to be the garden for Torridge House, which is a large house standing on the opposite side of the road with two pillars in the front, and they then sometime, I suppose in the 1890s, early 1900s, built the school. It was totally for East of Water, and East of Water had a little reputation because it was the working side of the town, and there were some rather a lot of rogues and a lot of poor families which needed guidance and help.
You're interested in the goods yard, so this was actually the goods shed itself. Oh, there you are, there's a good picture of a goods. You can tell the sort of amount of stuff they had coming in here.
What came in?
I mean, well, you can see by the types of vans. That, by the way, is very much like the van which we were talking about just now that my colleagues preserved. He preserved that one.
What sort of things did they bring in on the trains? What goods?
Virtually any goods. You see, in those days, nothing came in by road, so virtually everything was delivered. I mean, a van like that, for example, would perhaps bring in a load of groceries, so one of the local grocery shops, or he might bring in a load of stuff for the for some other business, you know, like
Yes.
ironmongery and stuff like that, because nothing came in by road in those days. It all came in by, so that could be virtually any commodity you can think of, which would have been coming on on one of those vehicles. If it was a big load like timber, or a load of coal, where you can see somewhere here, you can see those timber wagons. They're loaded with timber, and somewhere there's a coal wagon with about 16 ton of coal on board. That would probably have been for Little John's coal merchants over the other side at Westcombe, because they had to send their lorry across, and he'd come up alongside the thing and load into it. Some of them had coal come in by boat, but I think them and a couple of others always had coal.
Was the terminus,
Yes.
and I think the terminus was called something else before that. Can you? I'm thinking it's called something like the cart horses or something agricultural. I don't know why I think that. But that was quite a nice friendly pub as well, and people used to come in.
Go into much that one, so I realised they went on to ships sort of thing. I think my husband was friendly with somebody that went there, and him and her husband used to.
That's right. Yes, it was a regular. It's a regular place to go, wasn't it? Yeah, and you go there sort of, at least every week probably. But we started to go to the terminus because we lived here.
Showickshire, dear Showickshire, wherever we may roam, to distant lands or other towns, there's naught to us like home. Then upwards keep your aim, me lads, be striving all the way, for those that work with might and main shall surely win the day. O Showickshire, dear home of mine, we love thee and adore. So pass around the old pottery jug, and never mind the score. Then keep the bowl a-rolling, lads, and strive to win us fame. 'Tis naught to us who won or lost, but how you played the game. And here's a health unto our mayor and his wife whom we adore. We hope when Jubilee comes again, they'll visit us once more. But from all these who nestle close to Chudley and Roundhill, we tender you our warmest thanks for promises fulfilled. Then bide a while for us, me friends, and tell us tales of yore, for where old Showickshire's concerned, we ask for nothing more. Now if to London you should go, to seek your fortune there, let them all see what kind of folk they breed in Showickshire. So gather round the slip, me lads, and put your hand in mine, for if you hail from east or west, we'll shake for old lang syne. So fare thee well, me dear old friends, we bid thee all adieu, and when we say our prayers tonight, we'll mention one for you. So all together now, me lads, and with a final roar, let's have the chorus once again, but louder than before. Some sing of love and Omaha, and a few of Leicester Square, but it's bred to us the sitting croon of dear old Showickshire. There are two Swan Inns in Bideford, refreshing and so rare. But listen, boy, I'm telling you, there's just one Shamocher.
We sailed up the Torridge, our cargo to land, tobacco picked by hand from Virginia's foreign land. We moored up at the quay up in Bideford town, horrid sailors all are we. More ships they come a-sailing across the Irish Sea, with wool to wash and clean and to spin for you and me. Their crews drinking the alehouses split throughout the town, horrid sailors all are we. Where the press gangs are waiting to ply them with cheap wine, and to drag them to their naval ships where they will serve their time. But the old sea dogs amongst us will evade their wicked ways, horrid sailors all